Thank you, Design ID, for having all of us here. I think this is going to be very exciting. I want you guys to meet Arianna and Chiara, the power duo behind Studiopepe of Milano. So you guys can start presenting, and then we're going to get into a conversation with them.
Hi, everybody, and thank you to be here, and thank you to have invited us in New Delhi. We are very passionate about India, and we are very happy to be here to share our design vision. We are a design and interior design practice based in Milano, Italy. We opened our agency almost 20 years ago, so a long time. We met at the university at first, and then we decided to share our practice together. And we started working with clients in the design field, doing art direction, creative direction, doing showroom, interior consultancies for those brands. Then we, as a result of this practice, we started to design pieces itself, because both of us studied design at Politecnico di Milano. We started to design pieces that we used in our projects. So it was an interesting process, because we didn't start designing pieces, but we do start designing way of living, interiors, with a consultancy, and then after having thought what people needs, what was the style that was right for that time, we started to do design. We work for many brands. We still work for many brands, Italian, but also from Europe and abroad. And we, after the design practice that it's very consistent in our studio, we are also working with the fashion brands like Fendi or Havard. In that case, it's you will have a slideshow, a very quick slideshow with our projects. This is a showroom that we made for Havard, which is an independent concept store in Switzerland. And here we put this project because here you can see our design vision. I mean, we did the architectural part, but also all the features, all the furnitures, the bespoke pieces like this table. This is another project that we did for Hermès in Rome. We think that our vision on design is very multidisciplinary. That is a very important to us, because since we are a duo, we strongly believe that our design vision is shared, is the result of dialogue. A dialogue sometimes of opposite ideas, but that finds a way to create a new meaning together. And we think that is our greatest force. And we put it in our works. We take inspiration for travels, from art, from architecture. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is the dialogue. And so we would like to tell you about that, about this creative dialogue there is between us and between our team. We are 15 professionals in our studio, architects and interior designers and graphic designers, and the dialogue is a constant bread and butter of everyday life. This is another showroom that we did in France, in Bordeaux, with a very French style, but with a modern twist. With all the pieces you see are designed by us. Some of them are produced by design brands, others are from art galleries, design galleries.
So in our daily practice, apart from design for Italian international brands, we also work for galleries for bespoke pieces. In this case, we work with Gallery Filia, it's an international design gallery, and we create the temenos, that is a sacred space in the Greek temple. And this is an investigation about what makes some object special. For example, a table that becomes an altar, or a chair that becomes a throne. And we work with many brands, Italian and international, to create these unique pieces sold by these galleries, and have been produced and shown during this last 3 years ago, last Salone del Mobile. This is another work we've done with Alimonti Milano, specialized in marble, once again. And we really want to make marbles more soft and organic in a way. So we work with all these artisanal craftsmanship, and with Italian and international marble. That's a snapshot of the interior, because we design the interior of the flagship store with this sort of boiserie made in different kinds of marbles and layers, and also all the objects. Then we have another limited edition called Ritagli. When we play with the full and emptiness. So we work with Ritagli in Italian is a sort of leftovers. So we noticed when we came to this factory that the leftovers of the other project were really interesting, because the shapes were very unpredictable. So we choose from the production the pieces that we like most, and we created these unique pieces collection. Some examples of this project, and then another work made called Affinità Elettive for an Italian brand called Block Studio. So this is a set of 3 vases made in different kind of marbles that can be joined together in one single pieces. Affinità Elettive is elected affinities or something like that.
Because the pieces you can combine together, so it was the inspiration.
And then, as the last part of our short presentation, we put some project inspired by India. So, for example, this is a limited edition, once again, called Dharma, that took inspiration from Chandigarh architectures that we love to go and see. In the next day, we will be there. And so we took some parts of the architectures, like roof or little part, and we translated in this collection. They are basically made in marble, once again, or of lacquered wood or concrete. And yeah, we want to play with softness and hard materials like marble. We really want to add some sexiness to this material that we love most, because it's unique. Those are other pieces. And then, out of the blue, once again, is a limited edition inspired by, we work with Cyanotypy, that is a special photographic technique from the 19th centuries. So basically is a liquid that reacts to sunlight. So we usually use it for photographic part, but we apply to object, and those objects are inspired to it's explored through Janta Matar, that of course you all know, because the first time we came in India was almost 20 years ago, me and Arianna, for holidays, and we were very impressive by this place that we remember. So all the objects you see in the previous slide, we take inspiration from the shapes to these incredible sculptures garden, let's say. So, as you see, the inspiration could be subtle sometimes, but sometimes could be, very evident. But we really like to play with different inspiration that comes across our daily practice.
And in this case, in Janta Matar, we loved the idea of how to tell a story about time through architecture, and with our collection we wanted to emphasize how time and how the different hours of the day could change the perception of a product. With the blue, more light, more blue, less light. And so it was also not only a formal inspiration, but also a conceptual inspiration.
Yeah. And as a last part, we would love to propose this digital video that we did for Salone del Mobile 2020 during the pandemic. It's called Desire.
The lack of stars. To feel a lack of stars. They lack. See those stars. The seekers are looking for new constellations.
Yeah, that's a project we did digitally. It was one of our first digitally project made during the pandemic days. And it was interesting because we create an imaginary landscape and architectures in the desert where have to be features all the products we designed during the last the year for all our clients. So it's also a way to showcase the work of our studio in terms of products, but not just under a concept that for us it's very important to show what's the multidisciplinary part of our work, daily work.
Thank you guys for that really fascinating presentation. You guys have worked with brands, the best brands like Hermès and Galati and Radis and Baxter. You guys have done art galleries, boutiques, homes, and installations, even photo shoots you guys have curated and designed. So having come this far, is there anything that you have on your wish list that you haven't yet accomplished?
Many.
Yeah, you are true. We did a lot, and we like this cross approach to our practice, because we believe, as many Italian masters that believe that design is from spoon to the city. So we take really care about this teaching. But there is, one thing that we did, but in a very small scale, but we would like to go on with more hospitality project, because we believe that in hospitality you can really show what is your idea of design of interior, because it involves not only design and interior, but how people live a space, how live an experience, how live in a place which is away from home. So we think that in hospitality nowadays, with the new trend in hospitality, which is connected to boutique hotel, to secret places, to more domestic environment, a designer could really explore a vision which goes deeper than the mere interiors, but goes deeply into a way of living, a way of experiencing things.
What about you?
No, I completely agree with her, of course, because we are a duo. But personally, we already talked about it. We would love also to work on some, let's say, common ground or playground, something that could be for example, could be a garden. We would love to work, but something that it could be in between, landscape, but also with maybe some pavilion, something that the people could really live in and see the joy of nature that can change.
Yes, yes. Oh, wonderful. I was going to leave this for the end, but I think it's perfect because I see that you guys take inspiration from so many different things, and it's fascinating that you have taken inspiration from Indian architecture and created something so international that doesn't have those exotic forms and motifs of India, but the inspiration is clear that it is from India. So that kind of brings me to a question. For as long as luxury design has existed in India, I think all people and designers and homeowners or builders associate luxury with Italian marble, Italian furniture. So even now when we talk to clients, it's always, so shall we get a BB Italia? Shall we get a Bofi kitchen? So, you know, there is always that desire to have the luxurious product from Italy in your home. But now, given that India has really come on the global stage, not just by its exotic motifs and its bright colors, but also the way the designers of India have taken their product design to a global stage with international feeling products that are still very close to the heritage, the craftsmanship of Indian labor. Do you think that narrative would shift in the future where there is a reverse desire of owning in Italy a product, a luxury product from India, and not just product, but material from India, because we are so rich with stones and so much comes from here. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on that, and I can read something lovely that Nilaya wrote yesterday, that Indian design is striding confidently on the global stage without the exotic catch-all identity, but one with room for paradoxes and multitudes. Once boxed into a narrative of craft, exoticism, and mass manufacturing, India now presents itself with a global design language where heritage is reimagined and not over-explained. So what do you think would be the future for the West in their desirability for Indian materials in the space of interiors? Because I think there's already a demand for fashion and embroidery, but
First of all, maybe I would ask myself what is exotic nowadays, because maybe 15 years ago could be as a sense to use this word, but then now with with everything is much more connected. It's very common to say that, but it's true. I think that the things that really gonna win is not where a product comes from, but the idea and the quality itself, in terms of materials, in terms of choice, in terms of craftsmanship. Because the real luxury for us, is the things that last and that has very well done, that it's out of time. We really try to follow these ideas of timeless. Now sometimes it's very hard to do that, but I think that it's not a matter of where you come from. And of course I really like when I see, let's say, something that is very hyper-local, but have been seen with an international sign. And so...
To us, it's very, definitely India is becoming more and more important player in the design field, as is in architecture. For example, we really admire in Indian architecture because there is a mix of technology with craftsmanship, with culture. And so maybe also design has to follow this path, and it's right to look at Western design, but at the same time, India has to find his own voice, and he has, because he has very interesting materials. Think about stones or metals, the embroidery, for example. We love textile industry. To us, it's one of the best. And at the same time, it's very interesting how to mix all this craftsmanship, all the tradition, with an international perspective. So I think that we all have to be international, but not be globalized. So there are two different concepts. So globalization sometimes is not very good for creativity, or it's always not very good, but internationality, open, wide vision, it's very good. So we would like, and we guess also Indian designers will go on this path.
One of the great examples is Sabyasachi. I don't know if you guys have followed him. He's amazing. I think one of the most famous Indian designers, who takes the concept of your Indian embroidery and gives you Western silhouettes, like you could be at apres-ski and wearing an outfit made by him. So it's no longer just a sari that is relevant just for an Indian audience, but you can take that entire craftsmanship but wear it in a Western country. Similarly, Indian designers who work with product like Ashisha, Rushad, Ravi Vazirani, Josmo Studio take the Indian process and create something that is usable outside of traditional Indian homes. And coming to the point that you touched upon about the difference between globalization and international brings me to one of your philosophies that resonates with our company as well, the idea of contamination. You said in your write-up that the unexpected is a constant in your studio, and that's how my partner and I always try and design our homes. We never like to repeat. We always like to reimagine, recreate what we know from photography, architecture, arts, and that brings me to a very interesting question for which I need to sort of lay the base. So earlier, like years ago, when there was no industrialization, design was limited to the material that was near us. So homes were very heterogeneous. I could tell a home in a village in Milan is different from a home in a village in India or Mexico. And similarly, I bring an analogy to the human race. There was no mode of transport, so you would marry somebody that was within a mile. There was a research done that in Britain, a man would only be able to cycle a mile to woo the girl that he likes, but not any further. So your genes, your features were recognizable. I could tell if somebody was Caucasian, I could tell if somebody was black, I could tell if somebody was Asian just by their features. Similarly, with design, you could tell what was from where. Now you move ahead and you have industrialization, transport, technology. Now I could probably get material from the moon, right? And I could probably marry somebody who lives on the moon if I had enough money to use Elon Musk's jets. But so what's happening is design has access to materials from everywhere. So the design is becoming more homogeneous. So every home has a little bit of everything because of its accessibility. Now you bring us back to the human race. People they cross-pollinate, and produce some of the most beautiful children with mixed features. And again, there's a study that hundreds of years from now, we're all going to become homogeneous and we're not going to know who is from where because the features are mixed. It's beautiful, but it's unrecognizable, it's anonymous. So the idea of contamination, when we try to be more international, are we giving up some of our heritage? And there is, I think, no right or wrong answer for this. How important is it in design to be connected to heritage, storytelling? And same way, how much of your DNA are you willing to give up, to marry the love of your life, and you lose a little bit of your identity as you pass on, or your genes. So that's something I would love to hear your thoughts on. How much contamination is too much, or is it an inevitable journey that we're all going to take?
Personally, I think that's an inevitable journey for sure. But, for example, we are very passionate about ethnography museum, anthropology museum, so the symbol, because design is, one of the expression of culture. So to us, so of course it's going to be contamination between different kind of person that comes from all over the world, and so also the symbol will change, but the archetypes wouldn't. So I think that it's unpredictable what could happen in the next future, but I really think that for sure it's going to be something that is going to be right for our next generation, let's say, and yeah.
And also, connected to what you were talking before, there is a trend, I would say the trend, I don't like the word, but just to let you understand.
None of us designers like the word trend.
In interior design or in design, that in the 90s it was very nice and fashion to use marble from Amazonas or from countries all over the world. But now a lot of our clients and we also wants to use Italian marbles, Italian stones, not so precious stones, but precious the way you work the stones, the texture, the colors, how you combine together. So it's not just a show off, I have the best material, I have the very expensive material, but it's how to use it. And that's a very crucial point in design. And we are witnessing every day, we are using ceppo, which is a very poor stone, but very fascinating Italian stone, instead of Amazonas marble, which is going to destroy the environment. Why? I mean, we can find a different solution, and we, as a designer, we have the power to do that, and also we have to give the example also. And so we feel that going more local, using local artisan and rediscovering forgotten techniques could be a very interesting new way of designing things. Because now, compared to the past, we have tradition, but we have technology. So if we combine the two things together, we can really have very interesting results, and we think that is the new way of doing things for the future.
And also, since we are Italian, you know, Italy is a sort of peninsula. We are used to be, you know, to make a dialogue with Arabs, with Greeks, in our history. So, I mean, it's really unpredictable what could happen, but for sure it's going to be the right things. So.
No, definitely. And I think all of us are sort of guilty of wanting to be more international. And for us in India, being more international is obviously turning to the West. But I think more so we're all becoming more cognizant to provide context of what we design, because it would be terrible to design a house that could look like it was, you know, it could be in Australia, it could be in a desert, or it could be in a forest, and it looks the same. So without context, it's sad.
Yeah. I also personally think that maybe it depends on the clients, because if you want something to show off that you are, you know, a part of in a group of people that share a vision, international vision, or you want something that really is a mirror of yourself. For example, houses.
And it's based on
homes.
emotion.
Yeah, it's very personal work, so it's really important that, you know, it's a way to express yourself. So that's probably is the differences, but also in design, in industrial design, I think it's quite plus or less the same.
When you do a project, for example, an interior project, we tell a story, and we like to tell a story of our client, seen with our eyes, but we like to all the storytelling part. So each client is different, each client has his own story, and each client could push us to go in paths that are not ours, or I mean, they are ours, but with a twist. So that's very interesting to do our job, because it's a kind of constant discovery. And since we are very curious, we love to do this kind of job. And we think that curiosity is at the basis of creativity.
I think I totally agree, because every home that you design has to be bespoke for that client, and that client has to have the emotion of safety and also wowness when they abode it. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.